Hi, and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio. Wherever you are today, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm May from Intuitive Reading. I'm a psychic and medium, and each week I deliver some insight into some spiritual topics and readings for listeners. And today I was hoping to talk to you all about pendulums. So to start with the basics, a pendulum is a simple tool that consists of a weight or crystal just suspended from a chain or a string. And when held over a surface, it moves, and typically in response to your energy or intention. So some people think of it as a physical movement, but for those who participate in pendulum divination, the movement's really a reflection of your subconscious mind or spiritual energy. So the pendulum can be used to answer yes and no questions, find objects that are lost or people that are lost in some cases, decision making, and also, I suppose, just uncover hidden truths about yourself as well. And pendulums have been used for centuries, so with origins tracing back to the Egyptian times, and they've been part of practices like dowsing and divination. And today they're still widely used by psychics and healers and spiritual practitioners around the world. They are a really great tool. Because they do, as I said, they do give you like a yes or a no or a maybe. So you could even think of them sort of as the original Magic 8-Ball. Do you remember those toys that you could shake? So now you might be wondering exactly how they work, and so I'll just break it down. So pendulum divination is often based on the principle of energy, and the more you practice, the more attuned you become to the subtle energies of the pendulum as well. And so soon you'll be able to use it for more, like after you use it a while, you do get to use it for more sort of complex inquiries, like finding lost objects and things. So it is a divination tool, not dissimilar to your tarot and oracle cards, but a little bit different, because obviously with tarot and oracle cards, they're not great with giving very direct or yes or no answers, whereas pendulums are. And so I'll demonstrate how to use one. So crystal pendulums, like this one that I'm holding, you can store them anywhere. I like to keep mine somewhere really quiet, and I also like to sit it on a selenite disc as well. It's kind of like the fast charger of the crystal world. So I like to store mine there, and it always seems to carry great energy. And so when you go to use it, what I recommend, or how I use it, is I will lock my arm in, the holding arm, the arm that's going to hold the pendulum. I lock it in, and I do that by putting it on a flat surface, so on a desk or on a bench. And then I dangle the pendulum, and then I will dangle the pendulum with my left palm underneath it. Okay, so it is sort of reading the energy that comes out of my palm. And then, so when you first go to use a pendulum, you will need to program it. And what that means is you might say something like, show me a yes. And then you will allow the pendulum to move. And my pendulum's going up and down, which is my typical yes. And then once it stops, or you can stop it manually with your hand, then you can say, show me no. And then see and my pendulum swings left to right on a no. Okay. And so that's how you would program a pendulum. Oh, and if it's a maybe, I sometimes get a circle as well. But these aren't locked in. It's just specific to your energy. So whatever you tell it, it will do. So you can say, please swing up and down for a yes, or side to side for a no. You just let the pendulum know. And then you check that it's working by saying, show me a yes, and then it will swing. Show me a no, and then it will swing. Okay, and so that will give you sort of your quick answers. From there, once you've programmed it, you can start asking it questions like, would taking this choice be for my highest good, for instance, and then just see which way it then swings. So very useful tool, really helpful when answering yes and no questions. Also great for finding objects around the house. So I do know other psychics, I don't tend to use it for lost objects, but I do know other psychics that will wander around their house with their pendulums, yes or no, and find their lost glasses or their keys or whatever the case may be. And that does work for them. I know also psychic investigators will also use pendulums from time to time with maps to help locate people or items that might be missing as well. So simply laying out a paper map or having a Google map on an iPad and then using the pendulum, just holding it over specific spots on the map, and then the pendulum will swing according to whether it's whether or not the energy for that object is in that location. And so also, again, really excellent use for a pendulum. But yeah, so I hope that gives you a bit of knowledge around pendulums, and do give it a go. This was one of the first divination tools that I ever used, and by using divination tools and sort of dipping your toes in the water like that, you really do open up your intuition in other ways. So I do recommend that you check them out. They're quite affordable. The first one that I ever had came to me. It was actually one. So I do have a soft spot for pendulums. Okay, I might jump to a caller. I can see we have Wendy on the line. How are you going, Wendy, from Brandon in Mississippi?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you going?
I'm going just fine. How are y'all?
Yeah, well, thank you. I just love your accent, if I'm allowed to say that.
Thank you.
And do you have a question you'd like me to ask today? Ask Spirit today for you?
Just if there's any messages for me or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
I'm just tuning into your energy. Okay. And I do see that there is a little bit of conflict going around. And I do feel as though this is in the current tense now. So I'm not sure if you're feeling that currently or if that's something that you're anticipating. Is that correct, Wendy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Spirit is aware of that conflict, and it is bringing up as something that is it's prevalent in your energy at the moment. And so I'm going to ask Spirit how it is that you can overcome that at the moment. That is the Five of Wands, and in that card you can see a number of gentlemen sort of fighting with sticks. It's not super serious. No one gets injured in this, but it is a conflict, and it is something that is sitting in your energy. So it would be good if we could get a response from Spirit on how to resolve this.
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment.
Thank you.
And the Judgment card here from Spirit, and what the Judgment card is really saying is really a time for reflection and going deep and considering how important it is to win, I suppose. So where you're in, so I am being made aware that the conflict that you're in some respects, it's almost like, is it trivial or is it serious? And not being able to determine. So what Spirit is calling on you to consider is to sort of ask yourself those questions. And how important is this? Because there is, and they are just saying that expression to me, it's important to, you can lose the battle and still win the war. So essentially consider in light of this conflict, how important it is to you and whether or not it is something that you can let go of, I suppose.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you?
That. Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yeah, okay. And I might just see what else they have there, because I do feel as though there is a bit of that energy around, am I being silly? Am I overreacting here? And Spirit's telling you that your feelings are very validated, but you do need to, and that it's important to talk about these things as well. They are bringing up a female in your life as well and suggesting that there may be another female that you can speak to regarding this. And it almost feels like a confidant. So they are recommending to speak to someone about this as well, someone close in your circle. But what else is coming through the cards here for you? Okay, and they are also suggesting, so they are saying the Six of Swords here, which can indicate a time to sort of get away. And I do feel as though you do have like a lot of busyness around you. And so it would be good if you have an opportunity to try and get away for a little bit and to have that time to reflect, because often it's very difficult to make decisions and think straight when we have a lot going on around us. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it does.
They also show in this, beg your pardon?
Yes, ma'am.
So they also show in this card as well, there is a gentleman and he is rowing a mother and child away it's to calmer shores. Okay, so it is a card of travel, and once they get to their destination, it is then going to be a time to essentially reflect on what's happened and just give themselves that time to settle in and to sort of rebalance their energy, because there needs to be a rebalancing. But certainly Spirit wants you to be aware at this time that your feelings are, being validated, But there is,
Okay, good.
I suppose, there is cause for you to consider, reflection and
Okay.
and how it is that you're going to move on from this position.
Okay. That's wonderful.
Does that all make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. And I might just see what's Spirit got for you in the next 6 months, if you like, Wendy. What's coming up for you?
Yes, ma'am, please. Thank you.
Oh, well, this is an excellent card. So this is in the 9 of Cups, and I like to think of this as it's almost like wish fulfillment, this card. So this gentleman here sits proudly on his throne, and it's almost like dreams come true in this space. This is excellent. They are making me aware of the month. It's either June or July. They just said Jade. So either June or July that this comes in for you, and there is wish fulfillment there. And it does feel as though that's emotional fulfillment for you. So being in a really happy place and in a really good place. So that's excellent to come up.
Yes, ma'am. That is so wonderful.
Yeah, really good news. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Wendy. And to all the other listeners, thank you so much today for listening. And I really hope that you do get an opportunity to test out some of those pendulums that I was talking about earlier. My name's Nay Murray. You can find me at Intuitive Readings on Facebook or at intuitivereadings.com.au. There's some amazing light workers to follow me, so please stay tuned and have a great end of week.